Mental health in our schools is something I believe administration is not taking seriously enough. Students who have untreated mental health disorders or trauma are at risk of having poor attendance rate, impaired school functioning, decreased rate of high school graduation, and aggressive delinquent behavior. 20 to 50% of children face trauma. 75% of those students do not receive the mental health services they need or any services at all. Title I schools have the highest need and most at risk population for mental health problems. Now, adults are not the only ones who experience deeply complex traumas and emotions. These can be difficult to navigate, especially in a young, underdeveloped mind. I currently work as a paraprofessional for first and second graders for Boston Public Schools. This will be my fifth year in this role. In just these few years alone, I have witnessed children face traumas of our worst fears. I will not mention real names as to keep the privacy of the students. E, only 6, and her mother were severely physically and mentally abused. Along with autism, E suffered from severe trauma due to this abuse. J, age 10, had a brother who was brutally murdered by a gang in the community, and then found articles on the internet that gruesomely described that murder. A, age 6, mother, who was a severe heroin addict, left without notice and did not return in the middle of a school year. Now, this is only one small school, and this is not even touching the surface of what these children go through daily. Now, these are extreme cases, yes, and these students are receiving outside help, but they deserve to have someone readily available where they spend most of their time. Trauma like this does not just patiently wait until a scheduled session because it is time for math. Now, these were extremes. What are other battles children are facing? The risk factors in the development of poor mental health are wide ranging. Social changes within the 21st century, such as income inequity, parental contact, relationship breakdown, parental health, school expectations, cyberbullying, pressures to have the latest fashion, the perfect body, and own the latest technology, and most recently, a worldwide pandemic can all have a negative impact on young people's mental health and well being. Studies report the rising number of need in relation to self harm, anxiety, phobias, depression, substance misuse, post traumatic stress syndrome, and attachment, developmental, and eating disorders. Mental health problems can lead to school absence, lower educational attainment, and are associated with risky behaviors due to the links between mental health, academic success, and life opportunities. Schools are considered important settings for promoting mental well being. According to school inspections, there is no explicit requirement or guidelines that a school must follow to support students with mental health concerns. Most teachers do not feel equipped with supporting students' mental health independently. If students do not receive these services at school, they are far less likely to seek outside services. The most important thing for a child is to be seen by someone who can truly help them. They need personal one on one time with a professional. As teachers, yes, we are compassionate. Yes, we will do everything in our power to help our children feel better in that moment, but we cannot be expected to act as a mental health provider, such as a guidance counselor, therapist, or a psychiatrist. We are just not trained for that. Nor in the chaos of a classroom can you properly evaluate how severe their needs are and how deep their hurt goes. If we would if we truly would like to see future generations flourish to their full potential, we need to focus on them as a person and not as a piece of data, which leads me to the achievement gap. That is so much of what you hear educators, politicians, and administrators talking about. How much they care about closing that gap. Well, if we would like to do that, it starts with healing those children that need it. It is impossible to think that these kids will ever be on the same playing field if their brain is in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. We all know that this is true. How are we to expect students with trauma or mental health condition to focus on their academics if they are in a state of anxiety? We can't. We know our bodies have a chemical reaction when our brain is in this mode. If we want to close the gap, then this is how we really do it. It isn't about drilling them with more content. It isn't about drilling more content and strategy into them. The steps we need to take next is let individual schools, principals, teachers, and staff assess their population of students and decide on the appropriate number of professionals needed. Because all too often, people in the building working with the children have little to no say on what the students they know best. Next, we need to budget for those new positions. There is always money somewhere. There is always money somewhere. We just need to make this a priority of what we would like to spend it on. If we can't find the money within a district, we need to reach out and fund for this somehow. The next seems obvious, which is post the jobs and hire new teams. But lastly, this isn't going to be a smooth one fix process. We need communication around what is working and what isn't, and the flexibility to make the changes that we see needed. Schools should be more than a one stop shop for knowledge. They should be a place where children truly come to grow and develop in every aspect of their lives. Thank you.